Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariana and I'm happy to invite you on the final journey of winter 2026 into my last decade of February adventures. And as you can see, I'm starting from something different than my decade processes. I'm showing you my yearly process. I know that in the beginning of February I told you that I plan to progress this project which I call Dream Home. I don't know, it's a replica from the May, so I don't know the actual name. It has been entitled with. So yeah, this is going to be my yearly process, and I came up with maybe not so original scheme to progress this project. I decided to add like each day of the year to add the equivalent of the day I'm stitching on in stitches. For example, on the 1st of January I was supposed to stitch 1 stitch, on the 10th 10, on the 100th day of the year I am still supposed to stitch 100 stitches. I have calculated like the first 19 weeks in like weekly stitches, and right now I'm somewhere in the middle of probably week 9. So I have to finish all of these. I mean, I don't have to, I should have finished them by this point, but since January was the month of start, and so far I've been busy with my decade progress, didn't have much time to dedicate to this pattern, so I will be catching up with all I have missed so far. So according to my calculations, I should have finished 9 weeks of stitching, and it equals around 2,000 stitches, which I plan to add on the project by the end of February. I hope I will do that. I have started this whip a long time ago, probably, I mean, to be more precise, I think, yes, it was 2021, and at this point I have only 10% done, which is barely anything considering that the whole project has over 111,000 stitches, so it is huge. I'm not going to be unwrapping it because there's nothing much to see. As you can see, since it's been in my whips for over 5 years, or probably almost 5 years now, it has some white stains in it. It happens to canvas if it stays in the stash for too long, but I'm pretty sure that it will go away. But even if it doesn't bother me much because it is a full coverage pattern, so I don't mind it. Well, I hope it will come off, but we'll see. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. So what I will be doing, I mean, as you can see, I've been trying to move from bottom to the top with this project because, you know, it's very long, and since I like finding corners, it would be quite impossible to stitch. I mean, it is possible, but it would take a long time to go to the bottom left corner. That's why I've chosen the easier way. I'm going to be moving upwards to this corner. I think that somewhere around this area we have even more than 2000 stitches, so maybe I will just fill out this piece and leave the rest for another time. We'll see, but that's the scope of works I have outlined for myself. I have to stitch 2000 on this project. Well, as in case with my decades, I don't actually set a definite number. For example, that I have to stitch 1000 or 1500 or 2000 on a separate project. Here I have my limits because it's a yearly project and I want to progress it by around 66,000 in a year. So yeah, not to mention that I have been thinking a lot about starting another gigantic piece. I don't know if I will do it. I still haven't made my mind on that. I really want to, but then I understand that it has like over 90,000 stitches, so it's gonna be another long-term whip. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. If I do that, I will show it in the next decade, because if I make up my mind to proceed with that start, it's going to be dedicated to spring. So here we see my dream home. This is the state before, and hopefully we'll see 2000 plus by the end of February on this project. The last day of winter, as well as the last month of winter, is over, and I'm ready to get back to you with some of the progress I managed to make in the course of this. It's not even a decade, because I had like 7 days of February to dedicate to my third decade of the month. Well, since February is quite short, I'm gonna be quite frank with you. I didn't think that I would manage to fulfill all of my stitching goals, but somehow I've managed. This is Dream Home. Let me show you the preview once again. Well, it is Dream Home according to my own naming. I don't know the exact name of this pattern, but I know it's a domes or domes pattern. In my case, it is the design from Joy Sunday. And I've decided that 2026 is going to be the year of major progress on this whip. And I managed to add over 2000 stitches in this process. I get almost 2200, which is insane. But I would like to draw your attention to this pattern in terms of its simplicity, but at the same time, I don't know, great designing. As I've been working with this project, I've been just stacking up colors one on one, and I've been stitching here with some like brick reds and browns, and actually it doesn't seem like much. It doesn't seem that interesting, so I was kind of dying to move to this part and work on this purple-ish tree. This, I don't know what, actually I don't know which season is depicted on this pattern, because you know it shows like green and red trees, so it's like both summer and then autumn. So I don't know, maybe it is late summer, like August or something, while still a lot of bloom going on. So yeah, I've been just stacking color after color, and it was progressing like crazy. So I am like a week ahead according to my, how is it called, to my rotation. It's not actually rotation according to my progress. So I'm like on day 65, which is like the 7th of March, so I have a nice gap for my first decade of spring regarding this project. I'm not gonna show it to you in the first or the second decade of March, that's for sure. I'm going to show it later, I mean in the last decade of March, so that you can see some actual noticeable progress considering the scale of this whip. Well, it is 90, almost 94 by 43 centimeters, so you can imagine how large it is going to be, but it is an absolute pleasure to work with this. I kind of forgot how well it stitches and why I chose, I mean, I know that why I chose it, because I like the scenery, I like the idea depicted, but then I think that I finally found my progressing approach which actually works for me, and I'm going to be doing that in the future. So 2,200 stitches, and I think I'm almost 12% through. Well, in the major scheme it doesn't sound like much, but since it's been stuck at 9 point something, almost 10 for like 2 years, I guess 2% progress is great progress. Tell me what you think. I'm gonna show it to you once again. I don't know, I'm completely satisfied how it stitches, how it turns out, and I'm happy that it's been added to my yearly rotation. Spring is in the air, and I think it is high time to add some more flowers to my stitching routine. That's why I want to focus on my floral etude originally from Riolis, but in my case it is from M Shop in the last decade of February and the last decade of winter. Oh my god, time flies. This is how my work looks at the moment. I absolutely, every time I touch this project, this kit, I don't want to let it out of my hands. I want to continue, but I know if I do that, there will be little room for my other projects. I am already at the 68% point, so it means that in 7,000 we will arrive at finish. I don't know how I feel about it. On the one hand, it probably makes me feel a little bit sad because I like this project, but on the other, I know that the moment I finish it, there will be some more room for new starts, or maybe some other whips that have been in my collection for quite a while. Where will I go? Well, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably know that I do like following some, at least a little bit logical sections and sections and parts. This one is, I mean, this rose is fully finished. Here there are a few stitches missing, so I think I will concentrate on this part, on this side this time. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, here I have to do some backstitch, and there are gonna be some purple flowers. I don't know if these are violets, but I like, yeah, probably these are violets. I like them. Unfortunately, don't have them. Haven't seen them growing here in Italy. And the curtain I'll be working on the curtain. I think it is the most boring part because not only it is done in one strand, it is also done in half stitch, as much as I like half stitch, but also it's like endless parts in single color, let's put it this way. But I think I will be trying to even it, working somewhere here, somewhere here. I don't know if I said it before, but there was a mistake in the palette that came from provided by the brand. Some brown colors were mixed, so I had to substitute them. Well, no big deal because I have a large collection of floss. When I was working on this part, on the bottom of this project, I was kind of bored because it did progress well and fast because of, huge spots of single color. But then there was nothing that would stand out about this kit. And only after I finished this cup, I realized that I actually like this project. Because before that, this kind of brownish white part wasn't inspiring enough. But this cup outlined, maybe it's a cup of tea, or maybe it's for me it's a cup of coffee, even though I like coffee with milk. Surely there's no doubt about the floral part of the project. But since I tend to start from the bottom, I like to start from the bottom. For me, it is logical. This is how you build something from the bottom up. But if there is no other way, or using even wheel, you can actually start from the bottom. Anyway, I'm rambling. So, February 21st, 68% done. We'll see how much this project, oh my god, mixing words today, how this project will look like in 10 days. Hope I will make some genuinely noticeable progress. Floral Etude from Ami shop, a replica of Riolis. The original pattern is designed by Riolis, but I think it is discontinued or something. I am majorly satisfied with how much progress I've been able to add to this pattern. I almost added 1,500 stitches. As I said, I've been focusing on the right side of the pattern. So I stitched the curtain and this beautiful rose. I don't know, I think that in real life it's something on the border between fiery and like cherry red rose. It looks gorgeous. Also, I want to draw your attention to how these leaves are designed. What I mean, it's like the camera doesn't quite pick up, but there are two colors of green and one color of blue in terms of stitches, and the back stitch is carried in dark navy blue and like baby blue, which at first seemed to me like a weird decision, to say the least. But then when you move the pattern aside, it looks logical, absolutely logical. Also, I would like to point out that on camera, I don't know, maybe it's because of the lighting, because I'm filming during like the evening-ish time of the day. In real life, it looks brighter. I don't know, if we put a white paper, no, it doesn't change anything. The leaves are more vibrant. But anyhow, even in such a darker palette. This blue backstitch in blue, like a few blue stitches in the leaves, they create this dimension. They create this kind of glow, you know. It's like when the daylight, not even the sun, just the daylight reflects off the roses leaves. So I think it is an absolute, we should give an absolute applaud to the designer and also to the Emma shop, because you know, it's not the original kit, so maybe there's some room for deviation in terms of colors, but still it looks gorgeous. Like, I think that here we may have the same, or I'm not quite sure. No, there's no backstitch here, so this part may look a bit of kind of weird, but then when you think, when the roses leaves like fold, the back side of it is kind of this color, like light teal or something. I don't know how to name it correctly. Anyhow, Floral Etude is almost 75% through. I have like a little bit over 5,500 stitches left, and this means that my Floral Etude migrates from the decades to my monthly projects. So I'm going to cross it out, and I'm going to, by the way, I finished the winter lantern, so I'm going to add it to here. Which means soon we'll see the start, soon we'll see the finish, but it's not gonna be in my decade. Instead, I'm going to substitute it by something else. Actually, I have a clear idea in mind which pattern, which design will take its place, because I've been thinking about it a lot. I'll talk about it in the first decade of March. So yeah, Floral Etude 70%, almost 75% through, 5,500 stitches left. I think that in a couple months, maybe by summer, or maybe in the beginning of the summer, we'll have a beautiful finish. Yeah, I'm just going to let you enjoy this bouquet a little while longer. It's going to be a magnificent addition to my collection that will decorate the walls of my house. One more project I decided to add to my decades is the Flower Fairy from Luca-s. I know that the packaging and maybe the preview looks a little bit ragged because it has been transported and retransported many times. But I've seen people finish this project and it looks absolutely stunning. So I wanted to have it in my collection as well. Honestly, I think I bought it the moment it came out, like soon after it came out. The only thing is that in my case, it is a goblin version. It comes in full stitch and it also comes in half stitch. I chosen a half stitch because it does stitches. I mean, I'll dwell upon it as we progress with this part. Let's talk some statistics. I started it back in 2024, in the beginning of 2024, actually on the 22nd of February. So this year, this project, this whip, officially turns 2. But in my defense, it is almost 40% through. It is 37 to be exact. In I have the digital pattern, which is calculated in full stitches. So what I do, I just reduce it into half. I don't know if that makes any sense. So for instance, this pattern has like 60 and a half thousand full stitches. So in my case, it will be like 30,000 because I stitch it in a half stitch. I don't know how it makes sense. I mean, if we convert this piece into full, forget about it. It doesn't matter. I think that it stitches faster in half stitch, and it actually does, because I think I stitched like 10% in like a very limited time in this project. Well, primarily because I start from this part, and it is quite simple because it's the background. But then I wanted to add some logic to this project, so I moved to the left because, as usual, I wanted to find the second corner. And here comes the hair. Believe me, it is not as easy to stitch in half stitch as it seems, because, well, primarily the pattern is quite logical. Well, I'll show you what I mean. I mean, it isn't the simplest of all, but it is still quite logical. Yet the main challenge is the color palette. I know that it is required to add that natural feel to the picture, so that very similar tints of color are used. But with this small canvas and half stitch, it is absolutely challenging to tell one color from another. And well, when you look at it through the camera, it looks quite distinguishable. Even her dress or blouse or whatever it is, it looks quite distinguishable. But when you just take it close to your eyes and just proceed with the process, it isn't as simple as it seems. That is why I decided to cheat a little bit for the sake of progress. What do I mean by that? I will be moving up as I do from bottom to top, and this time I'm going to be focusing on the background. It might be trickier than it seems, or it might be not. So I think I will be seeking the third corner. I don't know if I managed to do that in this decade, but that's the plan. Also, as for the reason why I chose to add this pattern to my decades, it is quite simple because it is so far the only one I have in Goblin in my decades, because I don't have any other. I mean, I could have added, I have another pattern from Luca-s, which is called Cups, which is older than this one, but I think it is less progressed than the Flower Fairy. That's why I've chosen to proceed with her. Yes, the Cups. I'm gonna show it to you too. It is only like 13% through. Yeah, I know, it's gonna look absolutely gorgeous when it's done. And it is maybe simpler and more logical than the Flower Fairy, because it has like massive spots of single color. But on the other hand, it is like white, not white, but light colors on light canvas, which is also sometimes can be challenging. Anyhow, so this time I'm going to be moving up to find the third corner of this piece. It isn't that large since it is a Goblin version, Maybe that's the end, but I don't quite remember if I started from center or if I just counted from here. I don't remember, but somewhere here is gonna be the end. So it's like 1,000 half stitches, another 1,000, and I'll be there. So yeah, wish me luck, and we'll see. I mean, you'll see the progress in a second. Flower Fairy from Luca-s. Yet again, I'm not the proudest of the progress I added on this pattern, but still, any progress is better than none. As I said, I was going to focus on the background, and so I did. Whether you believe it or not, but in this area we have 1,000 half stitches. Well, that's the trickery of goblin designs. Well, even if you progress it well, it doesn't quite show on the canvas until you reach some major point. Surely I didn't reach the end, the corner, the third corner of the pattern, because I didn't. I mean, the design is built this way, in such a way that you cannot go like in straight lines. Otherwise, you will have to park a lot of flosses on the side, because it doesn't make sense of cutting the floss and then starting in the square right next to it. So I was just logically progressing, stacking color by color. Yes, this design might not be the neatest of all, and the main problem, I mean, it's not actually a problem, but the main reason why it looks how it looks in my case because I haven't found a better way of securing floss on goblin canvas. I don't really want to flip over the pattern and secure it on the back, because for me it's quite an unnecessary waste of time. That's for once, and secondly, securing floss on a goblin pattern on the back side of a goblin pattern isn't the most reliable method. Well, that's what I believe. I'm not sure if it's actually the case, because this is my first goblin progressed by almost 40%, because even though I added only 1,010 stitches, half stitches in this pattern, I'm almost 39% through, which is great. Still, any progress is better than none. So I know that there's nothing much that you would enjoy looking at, because there's no logical element, but considering the nature of this pattern, there are only two main logical objects, which is the horse and the fairy herself. And well, whether we like it or not, but we still have to deal with the background. And here it's like at least we have some play of color, but this part is gonna, if I'm not mistaken, hold up, I'm gonna check it, but I believe that it's going to be, yes, it is going to be just straight up black. It's almost 5,500 stitches, half stitches in black. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Well, but it has to be done in order to succeed with the final result of this collection, of this gold collection Flower Fairy from Luca-s. As I've been stitching this pattern, I've been thinking a lot about whether or not I'm going to be buying more goblin patterns from Luca-s or from any other company at that point, because there is a fair share of new projects which the brand produces, and I know that I would like to have them. And I don't know, full stitch takes twice as long to accomplish, and it is probably twice as large in terms of size, but half stitch isn't that easy on your eyes, especially it's like the background is effortless to succeed with, but these parts, not so sure. So I was having a debate with myself whether or not I'm going to be buying more, and I honestly haven't arrived at any conclusion yet. I don't know. I think I have like two or three more, maybe even more. I don't know. I have many goblin patterns from Luca-s in my stash and one in my whips, so I'll have to finish with those before I finalize my decision. Well, so Flower Fairy, 39%. Slowly but surely we're moving to a finish. Another project that I plan to work on during the last decade of February is going to be King of the Jungle by Sloboda. I'm going to bring it a little closer for you to grasp this wild beauty. I think it is one of the most popular kits by Sloboda so far. It came out like a couple years ago, probably in 2020 or 2021. I acquired it in 2023, and then I started it probably within the same year. But as you can see, I haven't progressed it very well over these years. I have only 13% done, and that is basically nothing because the kit itself, the project itself, is almost 50,000 stitches. I have like 42 remaining, so I don't plan to finish this project in 2026, but I would love to progress it some more because it truly deserves the attention. That's for once. And secondly, I have like the whole series. I have the Princess Savannah, which is leopard, and I have a snow leopard, which is also called some regal name, and I have a panther, and I have a lion. So I have like the full collection of wild cats, and I haven't finished any of them, so it's high time I do that. So that's one of the primary reasons why I chosen the tiger to add to my decades, is because it is quite old in terms of my whips, and also I want to have at least one kits of Sloboda on like regular basis in my decades, because I don't know if I've already said it. This is how the palette looks like. I know it doesn't look like the brightest, and generally I wouldn't probably want to stitch with such colors because there is a fair share of greens and a lot of like browns and blacks. But the patterns from Sloboda, they are designed in very logical way, and they have many blends. I love blends. That's why for me it is like one of the best parts about the project. So yeah, I don't think that I'm going to finish it this year, but at least it will move from 13% to some higher upper point. Where I'm going to go this time, honestly, I haven't actually thought about it. Well, going this way is going to be boring. I mean, it's like no matter which way you're going to go, until you reach at least the middle of the pattern, it will be more or less boring. In my opinion, I love everything logical, so probably I'm going to move to the left so that I gradually find the second corner, and after that I'll be moving probably from bottom up. That's one of my mostly used and probably the most favorite ways to build a pattern, because for me it has to be about the logic. I know that some people start from the center, they like start with the juicy part and then move to the more boring parts and like handle these two. No, it doesn't work for me. Even when I start from the center, I always usually move to the bottom right corner because I cannot decide which way to go otherwise. So yeah, King of Jungle, 30% through at the beginning of the third decade of February, and let's see how much it transforms in 10 days. I don't know why I keep calling this project the King of the Jungle. Well, actually its name is Wild Jungle Paradise. This project, it's not that I'm not satisfied with the project, I'm just quite dissatisfied with my progress on this pattern, not because there's anything wrong with the pattern or anything, it just because I didn't have enough time to dedicate to this whip. I mean, I spent 2 days working on it and I added like almost 1100 stitches, but I was not feeling my best when I was stitching on this project. That's why the progress isn't that noticeable and isn't that great. I mean, I focused on this area. I mean, due to the design, you can't actually see much what's going on. So yeah, I've been working in this area. So I have this leaf finished, and I started working on this flower, but I didn't have. It's not that I didn't have time. Rather, I didn't have strength to continue it. So, I mean, it's 15.5% through, which is great. I progressed it at least by 1,000 stitches, which is certainly better than nothing. But, you know, it can't compare to like the Dream Home or Floral Etude in terms of progress, but also because of how large this pattern is. It is almost 50,000 stitches, 1,000 more. That doesn't seem like much, but at least I held it in my arms. I worked with it. I kind of reminded myself on what goes where in terms of like numeration, because I have because my digital pattern is in DMC Floss and the original pattern is in I don't remember, Aurora Floss. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. Well, anyway, you have to like look at the digital pattern and then look at the paper chart so that you can choose, so you do not make a mistake when picking the color. Other than that, it is absolutely stunning project which deserves certainly more attention and dedication, but I enjoy it as it is. And I'm glad that slowly but surely I'm moving up to this beautiful muzzle. I don't remember if I told you, but there is a lot of cross-related beliefs in the Slavic speaking Flosstube, and there are a lot of legends or hearsay. It is believed that if you hang a cross stitch of a wild animal like a tiger, panther, or a wolf in your hallway, it will ward the bad people away, so that it's gonna be like the garden of your house. I don't know if it actually works in real life, but that's my primary intention. I had this weird idea in my mind that all of my wild animals, like the jaguar and the leopard and the tiger and panther, they are going to be framed in more or less the same way, and I'm going to hang them in the hallway. So once again, Wild Jungle Paradise, 15.5% through, only a little more than 1,000 stitches added. Well, we have what we have. The Legend of Freya from Bella Filipina is going to be yet another ongoing process in my decades. I know you have seen it fairly recently. I think it was somewhere in the mid or in the last decade of January, I don't quite remember. So far, it is only 3% through. I must say I don't know, I have like mixed feelings. It isn't the simplest of all, but it comes in waves, you know, like there is a fair share of confetti, especially in like metallic colors, and there's a fair share of like solid spots of solid color, like for instance black color. I think as I progress with the design, like if I'm gonna go this way, which I haven't decided yet, I kind of want to move logically up to her face, but on the other hand, I think that I might be bored with the rest of the pattern, or I may not be, I don't know. Or I will work on the seahorse. I lean to the seahorse part because I have got the floss I was lacking. I know it isn't the 100% equivalent of blending filament from Kreinik, which I suppose is the one that should be used in the mermaid's tail and in the seahorse. But I made this choice, and I'm quite satisfied with how it looks in real life. I don't know how it's gonna behave and how it will turn out on the canvas. I hope it will just click as well on canvas as it clicked in my mind. So that was the one of the flaws that I was missing when I started it, because you have so many bold spots here on the pattern, and I will be using this floss to fill it out and to move logically to the right to the seahorse. Also, I acquired the missing beads. These are the beads that glow in the dark. Yeah, I've tried them. They do. I mean, probably you cannot see that on camera, but these beads seem to be, the insides seem to be filled with some kind of powder, fluorescent powder or something like that, which charges under the lamplight, and then it glows. It actually glows. I was amazed. Also, these flowers, these floral pieces, are supposed to be like decorative elements. I don't quite remember where they are supposed to be on the pattern. They are only few. Hold up. French knots. Maybe they are. I don't know where they go. Well, I will figure it out after, when I go on with the process. So these are the decorative elements. They may be bigger than the ones that the original pattern suggests, but since I'm not stitching on 30-second count, not even on 28th, I'm stitching on probably something closer to 27th or even 25th count. I think these beads will fit in just perfectly, but there is still a lot of work to reach to that part. It kind of bothers me. Where should they go? I think, I mean, might be here, but I'm not sure because it says that you have, oh, there should be 9 of them. So maybe those like floral pieces go into her bra, into her tiara, also into her. By the way, we can actually see how well those pieces fit in, because I have an outline spot for this type of beading. If it is what I think it is, I might be mistaken. I haven't checked it yet properly. Also, there may be some mismatch with the color, but it doesn't bother me either. So what do you think, Philip? Do you think these beads will be too large? I think the more the better. I don't think they will be. Well, drop me a line in the comments below what you think, or should I like seek for smaller beads? Maybe even, I don't know, if I'll have an opportunity to order the original beads from Ukraine. I don't know. Well, anyhow, at this point in time, in the beginning of the third decade of February, Bella Filipina's project is done by 3%. We'll see how much I'll manage to do by the end of this decade. The Legend of FREYA by Bella Filipina was progressed by impressive 3% in the span of the last, let's call it, decade of February. I know I told you that I'm going to be moving to the seahorse, but then when I was looking at the pattern itself, it didn't seem quite logical to me, and I don't like to progress my patterns illogically, so I decided to focus on her tail instead. And as I said, I've acquired China-made metallic floss to substitute the, I believe it is a blended filament or some other chronic from original pattern, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but this is where I started, and this is where the strand ended. I think that the gradient, this is the area I've been stitching like all the way from here to here, and it like transitions from pearly white into this pearly green, and I think that the gradient fills this pattern just absolutely perfectly. I think it was the best solution I could have chosen. I mean, I have nothing against people stitching according to the key, but I think that my change fits into the, because you know, it's like the mermaid is a mythical creature, and like mermaids have all of these transcendent, I don't know, iridescent tails, and this metallic floss adds that necessary iridescency, I would say. I mean, it's not, first of all, it's not that noticeable on camera because, you know, it's hard to catch the beauty of metallic floss and beads on camera. And also, like, this part isn't fully filled out, so you cannot see the stitches well. I mean, maybe the canvas like blurs out the actual glow of it. But so yeah, I've been working on her tail, but then I got a little bit bored of black and gray colors, so I decided to move to her torso a little bit. Also, torso is a lot more easier to stitch on because here it is a kind of a confetti, I would say, because just look at the violet metallic to get the idea. It's like two stitches here, two here, one out, two here, a few there. So it isn't. Yeah, that's the special filament, fur filament. Maybe the design doesn't call for it, but I have it. Also, I wanted to add this, I don't know, maybe it's embellishment in her belly or something like that, but I really wanted to work with something brighter because, you know, neither the neutral colors nor the black ones and gray ones aren't completely life-affirming. These gaps I left unfilled. Why? First of all, because I was a little bit too lazy to get into my stash and find 3 brown colors, which were missing from my organizer because I didn't find them in my floss bank. So that meant that I had to refer to my other kits, to my other whips, and find the necessary floss there. And then I was too lazy to spend time doing that, so I just left this part a bit unfilled. Other than that, I don't know, maybe it's like 50 stitches left here, and the rest it's gonna be beading and those other decorative elements. I don't know, I think that when I started this pattern, I already said that it has some kind of meditative feel to it. On the one hand, you have just to run across the canvas because of these scattered crosses, but when you give yourself an outline, because the grays and the black color, they are like the outline of her tail, of the mermaid, so to speak. And when you do that, you just fill out the blanks, and it's so interesting. It's like you have 4 stitches here, 2 here, like, I don't know, I enjoyed it, even though didn't progress it that much, only 3%. So I added a little bit over 900 stitches, which actually isn't much, but since I was stitching on the last day of February, so I didn't have more time to dedicate to this pattern. If I had another day, I think I would have found the courage and strength in me to find the missing brown colors and fill her part of the tail completely. Speaking about going to the seahorse, we're so far away. I mean, I certainly underestimated. It's like, here is her tail, and then to the seahorse there's like half a pattern to move from this part to the seahorse. Also, I didn't want to do it like in a straight line because it wouldn't have, I mean, the tail makes sense, a bit of a seahorse's body wouldn't make much sense. Going up to its head, I wouldn't have that much time because who knows how many stitches are there. Well, once again, slowly but surely we're going to fulfill it. This is my second Bella Filipina. The first one was Bellatrix, and I think that Bellatrix was a bit simpler in terms of like solid fields of color. This one is quite more complex, or maybe just the mermaid's tail, because the body stitches exceptionally easy. I mean, so far as I've been working on the torso. So, The Legend of Freya, 6% through. Not sure if we're gonna finish her by the end of the year, but it brought me a lot of pleasure to work on it, and I kind of can't wait to work some more on her. Let's sum this February up. I don't know. Yeah, I summed the January up, but I didn't share it with you. So I had stitched over 22,500 stitches in January, and in February it's only 21,500 stitches, but I am more than satisfied with the outcome, because for many months I haven't been able to push through like the limit of 15,000 stitches. I think that keeping up with my videos, showing you progress, keeps me more organized, and that adds up to my stitching enthusiasm. Maybe even, I don't know if it would be correct to say about speed, but surely about enthusiasm, because I want to show you something, and I'm not just being lazy on my hobby. So 21,000 is okay, although also I'm not like showing off or something, but back at home there was this one month that I did my absolute most, which was like 43,000 stitches in 1 month. I haven't been able to beat that record yet, but who knows, maybe this year is going to be the year of finishes, discoveries, and new records. So finally, the winter is over, spring is upon us. I hope that the weather treats you well, wherever you are. Here in Italy, it's getting warmer by every day, although it's not that warm during the night. So yeah, thank you for staying with me. Thank you for watching my videos, liking, subscribing, and commenting. I truly appreciate your support. It inspires me to create some more and to share my my hobby with you. So thank you once again. Have a great beginning of the spring. See you in my next videos. Goodbye.